Ooh, yeah. Move my camera here. Worse. All right, that's better. All right. Hey, Tracy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All righty then. Okay, we shall go on the record then. In proceeding 26F-0062EG, Dwight Bordelon versus Public Service Company of Colorado. Administrative Law Judge Robert Garvey. Today is the 21st of April at 9 a.m. And this proceeding comes on for an evidentiary hearing. I start with appearances, Mr. Bordelon. Good to see you this time, sir. Glad I was worried that we weren't going to be able to see you. Good to see you. If you just state your name for me and then tell me who you represent.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Dwight Bordelon. I'm representing myself.
All right. And Mr. Geraldo, you should know this routine. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Emily Geraldo, and I'm representing Public Service Company of Colorado.
All right. Like I said, this comes on for a hearing. And Mr. Bordelon, normally, I mean, you already know this, sir. I normally do a pre-hearing conference before my hearings, but I already did one with you. So hopefully most of that is remembered. If it's not, that's okay. I'm going to go over things real quickly again before we get started. And if you have any questions, like I told you last time, just, please ask them right away. Do that. Real quickly, I'll start this real quickly. Well, yeah, do that. So you're going to go first, Mr. Bordelon. You're going to call your witness, which is you. And when you testify yourself, you don't have to ask yourself questions or anything like that. Just tell me what you want. Okay. I'm not going to make you run back and forth between two little boxes here asking questions. So just do that. When you're done doing that, then public service will have the opportunity to cross-examine you. I might have some questions, and then you'll be able to try and fix what you said. If something got cloudy for you, what we call redirect, and you can ask further questions that way. If you also remember, I told you that none of the exhibits that you pre-filed are necessarily they're not in the proceeding yet. They all have to be, you have to see if they can get entered in, and you try to put them into evidence. What I will say right now, though, to save time if we want to, since you both had time and an opportunity to look at the exhibits that each party has, if there's any stipulation to any of those exhibits. So, Mr. Bordelon, I'll start with you. Well, I don't know if you guys have talked about it, or would you stipulate to the other side's exhibits, Mr. Bordelon? Would you stipulate to the admission of their exhibits? I'll start with you.
Yes, sir. I stipulate to the admission of Gasco's exhibits.
Okay, and I believe, Mr. Carroll, tell me if I've got this wrong, it's 200-201-202?
Yes, that's correct, Judge.
Okay, all right. And Mr. Bordelon has a lot more exhibits, I realize that. But do you stipulate to the admission of any of his exhibits?
We're prepared to stipulate to the admission of the bills and the other exhibits that we reference in Deidre Howard's testimony. So that would be exhibit 111, 112, 116. And I believe his electric bills, trying to look up what hearing exhibit those are. Let's see. Apologies, I can pull it up really quick.
It's all right. I caught you by surprise on it.
Oh, no, you're good. No, because a number of them, I just wasn't sure kind of as to the relevance of some of them, but, certainly we'll stipulate to the admission of his electric bills and his communications with the company for sure. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, for right now, I'll enter the 200-201-202, 111, 112, 116 are all admitted by stipulation right now. When you come up, if you don't have any objection to it, just say that right away. If he brings it up, if you want foundation later, you can. But or if we take a break and you see something later or something like that, we'll see. But just thought I'd try and save a little time there. Okay, so Mr. Bordelon, so you do that when you're done doing with your witnesses, and I'm going to get a little bit about your witnesses in a second. Then public service has their opportunity to present their witnesses direct. You can cross, then I'll ask questions and redirect there. Then if there's anything, the possibility of a rebuttal case, if there's something that comes up, it's got to be something directly that was brought up in their case. It can't be something new or anything like that you bring in. The one thing I do want to see, unless amazingly there is a Jennifer Wolcott and a Deidre Howard that are two people with the exact same names, you have got the same witnesses there. So I assume it's the same people. And for the ease of time and for their life and making their life a little easier, what I'm going to suggest, Mr. Bordelon, is we'll have you testify. Then we'll just go to public services case. They can do their direct, and then you can cross-examine them as opposed to you trying to do a direct on them. And we don't need to do them twice. So does that make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I've got a feeling they're probably not. You haven't talked to them before about their testimony or done anything like that. Yes, Mr. Erdo, I'm sorry. What you need?
Yes, I identified other hearing exhibits we can stipulate too. So it'll be
Okay.
106, 114, 115, and 117.
Okay.
So that's in addition to 111, 112, and 116. Apologies for the delay.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So let me see. So just for the record, just so I have them all, because I wasn't smart enough to do them in two different ways. So also, or again, 106, 111, 112, 114, 115, 116, and 117 are all admitted by stipulation.
Yes, that's correct.
So,
Thank you.
so Mr. Bordelon, that'll save you a little time there. You don't have to do a foundation on that, and we can move you along on that. So then when we're all done, I'm not going to issue a decision today. We don't do that. We got to do everything by a written decision, which you've seen. And I will tell you, I will apologize to you in advance. I have a hearing today. I have a hearing tomorrow. I have about 3 things that got ripe last week. And so normally I try to say I'll get these things to you in 30 days. It might be about 60 days on this case. And it's just because I have a few other things. And there's a public service case and their quality of service plan that decision is coming out sometime, hopefully today or tomorrow. I just finished decision on that one. I got a few others. So I apologize in advance. I'm not going to get it out in the time frame that I like. So, Ms. Bordelon, that makes sense?
Yeah, one question, Your Honor.
Sure.
Will Excel be presenting Ms. Howard and Ms. Wolcott as witnesses? I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're not, I mean, Mr. Arnold, please tell me that. I mean, technically you didn't subpoena them, but they're here, and so and I think they would, but you will be having them testify, correct?
Yes, that I don't think I need them to do direct testimony, given that we are stipulating to the admission of their affidavits, but
Okay.
To the extent they're cross-examined by Mr. Bordelon, I would reserve the right to do redirect with them.
Yeah, no, so Mr. Bordelon, just for what that means is then she'll call them and basically it'd be just for you to cross-examine and then I ask questions and then she could redirect after that. So that makes
Thank
sense?
you, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay.
One more
No problem.
question, sir.
Sure.
I've had an error in a exhibit that was filed.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, my fault. I have it written down here too. The motion was the second thing I was supposed to talk to you about. So yeah, I saw the motion that you filed yesterday. I'm assuming there's no objection to that, and if there is, too bad. It's just a correction. It's just a correction. So yeah, we'll allow that correction to be in there on 114. And is 114, yeah, the public version of 114. Very
Yes,
cool.
sir.
So yeah, so grant the motion. Thank you, Mr. Bordelon. I apologize for that. I guess I'll show it to you right here. I have it written down on my piece of paper to bring that up. But okay. Just anything else, Mr. Bordelon? Do you have anything before we get started?
Yes, sir. One more question.
Sure.
I have a written opening statement, and then I was going to go into testimony, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, what I normally say about opening statements is I don't need it, but if you stayed up all night talking into a mirror and getting it all down, I don't want you to waste your time having done that. I listen to it. If you get up over about 5 minutes, my interest is going to lack, but you're welcome to do that. So, Mr. Ardo, you got anything else before we get started?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Bordelon, go right ahead then.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, on September 10th, 2025, I called Excel to request out of the time of use enrollment and switch to the residential opt-out or ROO plan. I was told the change would occur within 30 days. Because of the significant differences between the time of use and opt-out rates, I was interested in confirming when my rate would switch so I could adjust my electricity usage to manage costs. Between September 29 and November 10 of 2025, I repeatedly logged into Excel's customer-facing My Account portal and contacted Excel customer service by phone and online to determine which rate plan I was enrolled in. Despite these efforts, I was unable to reliably determine if or when my rate plan had switched prior to the end of the 30-day window Excel identified. Furthermore, for 30 days after the rate plan was supposed to have taken effect, my account portal consistently indicated that I was still in time of use billing, explicitly stating you are on time of use rate plan, and displaying my recent electricity consumption in terms of off-peak, mid-peak, and peak periods associated with the time of use plan. When chatting with Excel customer service representatives about my current rate plan enrollment, the representatives provided conflicting and inaccurate information, including statements that the portal isn't always correct. Per the Code of Colorado Regulations 4 CCR 723-3 Rule 3026 requires a utility shall maintain customer data sufficient to allow a customer to understand usage at a level of detail commensurate with the meter or network technology used. In an AMI enabled time of use environment, a customer cannot understand usage without knowledge of which rate plan applies. It's important to understand why 3026 is written this way. The rule does not attempt to predict specific meter technologies. Instead, it adopts a scalable standard. The information made available to customers must remain commensurate with the meter or network technology the utility chooses to display. Under legacy accumulation meters, retrospective usage on a monthly bill was sufficient because customers had no ability to observe or respond to usage in real time. AMI metering fundamentally changes that premise. AMI records interval usage data, supports time variant pricing, and creates the opportunity and expectation that customers can understand and respond to price signals as electricity is consumed. The technological advancement is the precise rationale for Rule 3026 scalable disclosure requirement. When a utility deploys advanced meters, the information it provides must scale accordingly. Providing only post hoc billing information that was adequate for legacy meters is no longer sufficient once AMI is deployed. Accurate, timely, and rate contextual information is required under Rule 3026. It is the regulatory consequence of advancing the metering technology. Separately, Title 40 requires Excel to provide adequate, efficient, just, and reasonable service. Providing affirmatively incorrect rate plan information for weeks does not meet this standard. Excel has defended its lack of adherence to rule and statute by asserting that my bill was ultimately correct. However, later billing accuracy does not cure a service failure during consumption when real price signals matter. Moreover, a showing of direct monetary harm is not required for the Commission to find a violation. The evidence will show that the violation reported in this case was not an isolated occurrence. Excel admits that its customer-facing portal updates rate plan status only at billing cycle close, even though its internal systems know the correct rate in real time and customer service representatives have access to accurate current and pending rate information. As a result of this delay in customer-facing information, customers may receive inaccurate or affirmatively false rate information through the portal after requesting a rate change or undergoing a rate change. During that period, customers have no reliable way to determine their actual enrolled rate. That is what occurred here for more than 2 months. It's important to note that information made available to customer service representatives through internal channels may not be accurately conveyed to a customer, making the availability of official written indication of a customer's enrolled rate plan paramount to a customer's ability to understand the terms of their electric service. And because these failures stem from Excel's system design and operational choices, they are imprudent. Excel chose to operate customer-facing tools that, as designed and implemented, resulted in the dissemination of inaccurate rate plan information despite Title 40's requirement for just, reasonable, and adequate service, and Rule 3026's mandatory obligation to maintain accurate data. Accordingly, I will ask for a finding of imprudence and that Excel may not shift costs resulting from non-compliance to ratepayers. At the end of the hearing, I will request a finding of non-compliance with Rule 3026 and Title 40 and targeted corrective relief, including timely portal accuracy for rate plan status, proactive notice of effective date during transitions, and adequate customer service training and scripts. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bordelon, thank you very much. And you may call your first witness. I realize that's not evidence that you just presented to me, just for your legal
Yes, sir.
technical world. Okay, you may call your first witness, who I think is going to be you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, hang on. Please raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
You swear or affirm, tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under penalty of perjury.
I do.
All right. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. Your Honor, I will testify from personal knowledge, and I will authenticate the exhibits I captured contemporaneously, including screenshots, chat transcripts, and billing statements. I will also rely on Excel's discovery responses and affidavits for admission. Your Honor, I asked to move 6 short groups to keep the record clear. I know some of these have already been addressed. I don't believe the first one was. I moved to admit Exhibit 100C, my formal complaint for procedural completeness.
Okay. Is there any objection to 100C? At 100,
No
100 and
objection.
100. Okay. It's offered and admitted.
Okay. I note that exhibits 116C and 111 have already been stipulated to.
Correct.
Next, I move to admit exhibits 103C, 104C, 105C, and 106C. These are portal screenshots showing time of use displayed during the transition.
Okay. Is there an objection to, what was it, 103?
103
104?
through 106.
6. Okay.
No objection.
Okay. That'll be admitted.
Thank you. And I realize 114C has been stipulated to. I ask that 115C be admitted.
115's in already too.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Sorry.
Let's see. I note that Exhibit 117C has been stipulated to.
Correct.
And my last request for admission, I move to admit the following exhibits for commission context and background to the extent appropriate for official notice of commission records, rules, and decisions relevant to Rule 3026 and Title 40. I move to admit Exhibit 110, AMI Implementation and Status Report proceeding 16A-0588E, and Exhibit 119, Final Commission Time of Use Rate Decision under proceeding 24AL-0377E.
Okay, that's 110 and 119. Any objection to either of those, which are both commission decisions, if I'm correct?
Well, I'm sorry. No, sir. The 110 is a report presented to the commission by Excel, but it is registered with the commission. It's an official document.
Okay. Any objection to 110 or 119?
We reserve the right to challenge their relevance, but we don't dispute, that they are commission decisions that could be subject to judicial notice.
Okay, I'll take that as an objection on relevance. So let me take a look real quickly here.
And I'm prepared to rebut that as
well.
well.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Your Honor, Exhibit 110 is offered narrowly for commission background regarding AMI capabilities and commitments approved by the commission. It provides context for Rule 3026 requirement that customer information be commensurate with the technology deployed. It is not offered to prove the specific facts of my case.
Yeah, all right.
No objection then,
Yeah.
with that understanding.
Okay, 110 shall be admitted, and 119 is a decision, so.
Yes, sir, and under the same rebuttal.
Okay, any objection based upon that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, 119 shall be admitted, so.
Thank you, Your Honor. I also note that exhibits 200, 201, and 202 have been stipulated to.
Correct.
Okay. If it's okay, I'll proceed with direct testimony.
Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name is Dwight Bordelon. I'm the count holder for electric service at 4427 Decatur Street in Denver. For clarity, I want to define what is meant by advanced metering infrastructure, or AMI. as that term is used throughout this proceeding. As documented in Exhibit 110, the Grid CPCN Project's 2021 accruals report submitted by Excel. Excel's AMI deployment consists of advanced electric meters and supporting systems that measure electricity usage on time interval basis, transmit that data through a dedicated communication network, and make it available to the utility in near real time. So just defining what the technology is. Exhibit 110 further documents that AMI systems were deployed to receive, validate, and process interval usage data, including explicit interval billing functionality with meters programmed to record time blocks aligned with approved time of use periods. Accordingly, time of use billing is technologically contingent on AMI, which provides the interval measurement and data handling necessary to support time variant rates. As shown in Exhibit 119, which is decision number C25-0415, paragraphs 96 and 122.
Hey, Mr. Bordelon, and
Yes,
I'll tell you real quickly, I should have told you this before. It's my fault. First off, I'm going to thank you for my court reporter, because you're doing a really great job of not talking too fast. And I forgot to remind you that we have a court reporter doing that. If you want an exhibit pulled up, my legal assistant can pull up the exhibit. So what you're talking about 119 now, if you want that pulled up while you're talking, you can just ask her to pull that up and we'll have that on the screen. Okay.
Certainly, Your Honor. I wasn't sure if we would go through the actual text in the hearing.
I leave it up to you how you want to present this. So, but I just want you to know that you have that availability.
A question for you. If I reference this in testimony now, would you normally review that reference when you're preparing a decision?
If I thought it was important.
Or must I present it here, I guess is my point. Do I need to go through it?
I mean, I know if I'm looking at it, I know to look to 119 when you say that. If I deem it to be important, it's how you feel you can best present your case though right now.
Okay, yes, sir. I realize you can't advise.
Yeah, so I mean, it's your options. You know, if you're giving a speech and you have a picture, it's nice to talk about the picture when you can see the picture as opposed to just talking about it. So that's the only advice I'll give you.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate that. And if the court reporter would please pull up Exhibit 119 and go to paragraph 96. I believe they're all labeled clearly in the document.
Yeah, so we'll just do it like this. However you want to do it that way. So. But you're doing a really great job on how quickly you're not talking.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so 2 paragraphs referenced in this document, and both of these are addressing guidance provided by the Commission to Excel regarding what makes a time of use plan acceptable under their guidance. So the Commission's approval of time of use rates was not unconditional. The Commission expressly found that successful implementation of time of use billing depends on robust customer outreach and education, emphasizing that negative public sentiment, confusion, and misunderstanding must be addressed for time of use rates to function as intended. And you can see in this screen, the text mirrors some of the language that I just used. The Commission was clear on expectations on communication with the public regarding time variant billing. And if you wouldn't mind going down to paragraph 126 through 127, please. Thank you. So in this section of the document, as well as paragraph 126, which I mentioned previously, I know it's a little bit further down, the Commission further required that informational tools and notices be in place before implementation of time of use billing. This underscores that customers must have timely, accurate, and actionable information for time of use rates to be lawfully and effectively implemented. So again, just demonstrating that AMI technology was presented as the technology that supported the ability to deploy time variant or time of use rate plans, and the Commission is providing clear guidance on expectations that customers be fully informed and educated about these plans in order to make it a legal and effective implementation. The Commission further required that these informational tools and notices be in place before implementation, underscoring that customers must have timely, accurate, and actionable information for time of use rates to be lawfully and effectively implemented. Sorry, I reread my last statement. That is all the reference that I have from that document. The Commission mandated focus on customer understanding directly reflects the regulatory obligation codified in Rule 3026. When a utility deploys advanced metering technology and time of use billing, the information provided to customers must be commensurate with that technology. Time of use pricing without accurate identification of the applicable rate plan defeats both the technology's purpose and the Commission's implementation directives. I'll next move into some exhibits that demonstrate what I experienced in the period of my requested transition. I'd like to call up Exhibit 116. And this is the transcript of the telephone call with myself and Excel customer service on September 10th of 2025. The first few pages are authentication or provenance of the document, followed by the transcript that I developed based on the recording. Okay, within the transcript of my phone call with Excel customer service on September 10, 2025, I called Excel and requested to move from time of use to flat rate billing. The customer service representative told me the change would occur within 30 days. There was no disclosure that the portal would continue showing time of use after the effective date until billing cycle close. If you wouldn't mind scrolling to the end of this document, I think it's worth noting that I did not realize this was going to turn out to be the experience that I had, but I did proactively inquire, will there be a notification? And I didn't understand the full context, but it said, or I was told that I would see it on my bill. So that was the level of detail that was provided regarding when a switch might occur. The next exhibit I would like to call is 111. This is the transcript of an online chat with myself and an Excel customer service representative on September 29th. I used Excel's online chat to inquire about my rate status, and I was connected with a customer service representative identified as Michael D. And if you wouldn't mind, please scrolling down to the text of the exchange. So Judge, I would ask that, I inquired with the customer service representative when my service had changed or had it changed. And through the course of this very brief interaction, I was told that I was on time of use billing. I was told that my account needed to be corrected, which wasn't explained. That my most recent bill should be all residential opt-out. Neither my previous nor my next bill was residential opt-out. That electricity that I consumed on 9/29 at the time of the call was on residential opt-out. So I inquired, what is the rate that's applicable to the electricity that I'm consuming right now? And it was confirmed this is residential opt-out rate. And the representative also noted that notification pop-ups on the My Account portal aren't always correct. So the point that I'm trying to make with this exhibit is reaching out directly to Excel to get confirmation about the applicable rate plan was completely pointless. I got different answers that left me more confused than before I contacted them. Next, I'd like to move to portal misrepresentations that I received regarding my rates. So first, I'd like to call Exhibit 103C. This is a screenshot from October 7th of 2025. It shows the portal stating I was on time of use plan, and that was actually correct at that time. But I had no way of knowing that because I had received confusing information from the customer service representative.
I'm sorry, you said 103C, so that's a confidential exhibit? Are
Yes.
we going into confidential session?
Well, like I say, once you call up 103, if you do confidential exhibit, if you put it on the liner, then we have to go.
Oh, apologies.
So like that,
I
so-
don't think I need to have a
Yeah.
confidential
Yeah.
viewing. But if you wouldn't mind, if the court reporter could please bring up 103C and scroll down to the screenshots. Okay, so this is a view of information provided to me on October 7th on the My Account portal. And as you can see, there's different colored bars on this graph, and the different colors indicate different rates that were applicable to my account at that time. I want to note that I do believe this information is correct. It was prior to the date that Excel later confirmed I was switched, but this is kind of the baseline example of how, as a customer, I receive information from the utility.
Okay, and just so I'm clear on this, if I'm reading this correctly, the bars here are for daily usage from, I believe that's the 8th of September until the 7th of October.
Correct.
Okay.
So on some days you'll note there's tall blue bars, and that is generated off peak. Yeah. Sorry, I can't quite make it out. So the blue is off peak, the yellow is mid peak, and the red is on peak. If it's below the x-axis at 0 kilowatt hours, then it is a generated, or the amount that my photovoltaic system delivered to the grid. If it's above that 0 kilowatt hour line, it is electricity that was delivered to me from Excel. What's important, I think, to focus on here is there's a clear depiction of rates corresponding to the 3 time of use rates: off peak, on peak, mid peak. Next, if the reporting would still would please display exhibit 104. This is a screenshot that I took on October 20th. This is 10 days after October 10th, which I now know is the date that Excel switched my account from time of use to opt out. And if you wouldn't mind, please scrolling down to the bottom of this exhibit. Okay, so there's some information displayed a little bit differently, but it's from the same website. This is over the course of a single day. So this is electricity usage detailed on October 20th of 2025. 10 days after, Excel now reports I was switched from time of use to residential opt-out. And as a consumer, I look at this and I see I am consuming electricity on off-peak rates. And at some points during the day, I'm producing electricity at off-peak, mid-peak, or peak rates. And then at the bottom of the screen, or at the bottom of this picture, it says, this is not your actual bill, rather a tool to help you better understand your energy costs and when they occur. So the My Account portal is giving me every indication that I'm on time of use, and then in written text saying, this is information that I should use to understand and adjust my behavior based on the anticipated cost of the electricity. And if you wouldn't mind scrolling down a little bit further. This is another view taken from My Account portal on the same day. And what's important here is if you look at October 10th of, there's 2 graphs. It shows October 2024, October 2025. The left bar for that month is prior year's usage. The right bar is 2025 usage. It says time of use off peak. That's the teal color. There's a little, maybe that's purple time of use on peak at the top. There's no indication on this graph that any period within October corresponded to a residential opt-out. So again, I'm proceeding under the assumption, based on all indications I'm receiving from Excel, that I'm on time of use billing and that I have not been switched from resident. I'm sorry. Yes, that I'm on time of use billing and I have not been switched to residential opt-out as requested on September 10th. And as on September 10th, I was told I would be switched effective within 30 days. I'd like to next call up Exhibit 105. And this is a screenshot from my account taken on November 2nd, 2025. And if you wouldn't mind scrolling down. Okay, so this was a screenshot. It looks a little bit different. This was taken on my cell phone, but this is the information that I received from Excel on November 2nd, stating you're on time of use TOU rate plan. Very clear still. This is November 2nd, so a few weeks since the switch should have occurred. And then the last screenshot that I wanted to share was Exhibit 106. If you could please bring that up. Thank you. And if you would please scroll to the bottom. There, okay, yeah. So another image from the My Account portal, another day view of recent energy consumption. This is November 10th. Per my conversation with Excel on September 10th, I should have been on residential opt-out rates for now 30 days. And I have every indication that I am still on time of use. So I don't know if I'm paying the residential opt-out rate at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or if I'm paying 3 times that on the peak rate. I can't make informed decisions, is my point. Okay, and just for the record, next I'd like to move to Exhibit 114, just to document when the rate change became apparent to me. Exhibit 114 is the statement that I received on October 15th. And if you wouldn't mind, please scrolling down to the section detailing electricity usage. If you could go down one more page, please. Thank you very much. So this is a detailed accounting of energy consumed or generated for the period. There's no reference at all to residential opt-out. Now, importantly, there should not have been, or there may have been had Excel elected to switch me from time of use to opt-out within the 30-day window. When I received this bill, I realized that had not occurred, but the 30th day was actually the next day after this bill was that data was collected for this statement. So this is,
and just so I'm clear, Mr. Bordelon, what you're saying there, this bill would not have been post the 30 days. It would have been all the days contained in here would have been under the 30-day time
correct.
period.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. So nothing very interesting here. This is just confirming that nothing has changed. And then if you would please pull up Exhibit 115. Exhibit 115 is my November 14th, 2025 statement. It became available to me on November 15th. And if you would please scroll down to the section under electricity usage. Okay, so there's 2 different reporting periods shown in this statement. The first, under that kind of brown heading, is all relevant to October 9th. This would have been the day after the 30-day window expired. And there's an accounting of electricity consumption or generation under the time of use rate. And then the lower section with the other brown heading is for the remainder of the billing period, October 10th through November 8th. And this confirms that I'm on residential opt-out. So I just wanted to clearly document when the change had occurred and when I became aware of it. I was unaware that I was on residential opt-out from October 10th through November 15th, although Excel knew effective October 10th, I was on residential opt-out, but the information that was provided to me consistently up to this day indicated that I was on time of use rate.
And just so I get it clear again, they Excel did it within the 30-day period as required, but you, based upon the bill and based upon the portal, did not know that for sure. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The main point of my complaint is that Excel Energy provided inaccurate information from the period of October 10th through November 15th, indicating that I was on a rate plan other than I was on, although their systems had full indication, they had full knowledge that I was on a rate different than what they were telling me.
Okay.
From September 10th through November 15th, 2025, there was a 65-day period during which I could not be certain which rate plan applied. And what I mean by this is Excel specifically provides guidance that they will change the rate plan within 30 days. That could be within 2 days, that could be within 29 days, it could be within 30 days. During that period, for lack of reliable information, I really don't know what plan I was on. I could have been switched to opt-out on September 11th. And then all of the decisions that I made for the next 64 days would have been ill-informed for lack of accurate information provided by the utility. In an AMI-enabled time of use environment, the ability for customers to understand their usage and respond to price signals depends on having timely and actionable information that can influence behavior while electricity is being consumed. As the Commission recognized in Exhibit 119, paragraph 96, which we looked at previously, time of use implementation is successful only if customers are able to understand the rate and meaningfully adjust usage, not merely after receiving a bill that is correct. So information in real time is required in order to function within a billing system that may be time of use. For that reason, the Commission required advance notice, customer education, and tools such as rate comparison and usage impact information so that customers can evaluate and respond to time of use pricing before and during consumption, underscoring that post hoc billing alone is insufficient to meet the Commission's requirements. And for this reference, Your Honor, Exhibit 119, I would ask that the court please review this. It's very clear language under paragraphs 122 through 123 and 126 through 127. The Commission has made it very clear the expectation for Excel is that implementation of time of use billing requires clear explanation to the customers of what rate applies, which was not the case in this instance. So next, I'd like to close with requested relief. So I request a finding that Excel violated Rule 3026 and CRS Section 40-3-101, subsection 2. I request an order requiring timely, accurate display of, sorry, let me restart.
Sorry.
An order requiring timely, accurate display of current rate plan status in the customer portal upon the effective date of change. So clearly communicating to customers when the rate plan changes that the rate has changed. Proactive customer notification of the effective date during transitions. So if a change is coming, please tell me in advance so that I can plan accordingly. And lastly, additionally, customer service representative training to ensure customers receive more consistent, and accurate answers when contacting the utility. And lastly, I request the finding that Xcel acted imprudently in failing to adhere to Title 40 and Rule 3026, and that Xcel may not recover from ratepayers costs incurred to address this complaint or remediate noncompliance. And that concludes my testimony.
All right. Hang on a second. All right. Let's see. It's 9:45. How much cross-examination think you're gonna have?
Probably a couple of minutes at most, Your
Oh,
Honor.
okay.
But I would just like to, make an oral motion to strike the testimony to the extent that it's, offering legal opinions or conclusions. That I don't believe that's appropriate, evidence in this proceeding, which should really go to the facts of the case and not Mr. Bordelon's understanding of the law.
Well, tell me which ones you're talking about.
When he's characterizing the commission decisions and his talking about his requests for relief and, findings of, imprudence, which I'm not really sure what that would even mean in this context, but it did seem like there was a fair amount of testimony that he just gave, which was kind of characterizing his understanding of what he believes our legal obligations are, rather than like the facts of what happened from his perspective.
Well, I'm going to allow it. I think he's just giving his opinion of what that means and how while he's not giving a legal opinion, excuse me, as to what that means, he's at least pointing out the fact that these are things that the commission took into consideration and found were important in that proceeding in dealing with that. So I'll allow that. But you may go ahead and start any cross-examination.
Sure, thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Bordelon. As you remember, I'm Emily Giraldo, Public Services Attorney. Just for clarity of the record, would you agree that on September 10th, when you called the company requesting to switch from the ROO rate or the RETOU rate to the ROO rate, that Public Service did advise you that the rate change would take effect within, at most 30 days?
Yes, I agree with that.
And would you agree that the company advised you that you would see that this change was made based on issuance of a future bill?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
And do you agree that on that phone call with the company's representative, they told you that you would see the updated rate on a future bill?
Yes, I agree with that.
And would you agree that this is what in fact occurred?
Yes, I agree with that.
In any of your communications with Public Services representatives, did you ever express confusion about the rate schedule appearing on the portal or ask when that rate schedule was updated?
I did specifically actually in my web chat interaction on September 29th.
But would you agree that on that web chat on September 29th that you were still on the RETOU rate, meaning that the portal at that time was accurate in terms of the rate schedule?
I can say that today, I know that on the 29th, I was on the time of use billing. I would say that at the conclusion of my interaction with Michael D., the Xcel web chat customer service representative, I had no idea what rate plan I was on because he told me I was on both simultaneously.
But would you agree that as a result of that limited lag between the rate taking effect for billing purposes and the first bill being issued under the ROO rate, that you were not financially harmed in any manner as a result of that lag between the rate schedule taking effect and it appearing on the My Energy portal?
I'm not arguing that I was harmed. I'm arguing that Xcel violated Rule 3026.
Great, thank you for clarifying that. I don't believe I have any further questions for Mr. Bordelon.
Okay, Mr. Bordelon, I got a couple. So if I understand this correctly, you called on September 10th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Make the change. What if you would have called on September 12th? If you'd have called on September 12th, the next bill you had, based upon what I'm thinking you tell me, would have showed that you had gone over to the new rate. You know, you were one day, would have had one day on opted out of on the opted out rate, correct?
Your Honor, I hate to speculate on how things may be differently. I can only speak to the experience that I had.
Right. No, but based upon what happened, I mean, and when it showed the change happen and stuff like that, there's at least a good possibility that would have occurred, correct?
Okay, let me say this out loud so I make sure I understand.
Oh, yeah, no. Let me explain to you. It was my understanding that you showed me the first bill,
Mhm.
and it was like 2 days. It was like a day short of the 30-day period, correct? And so if you'd done 2 days later, if you called on the 12th, so that the 30-day period would have been 2 days later on that, you would have. It would have, or 2 days earlier. 2 days earlier is what I want, not 2 days later. It would have changed over. You would not be one day away from changing. You would have been one day after changing when you got that bill. So it would have been evident at that point, correct? Based upon what you've seen on the billing.
Sure. Based on my experience, I can only tell you, and I'm not trying to be evasive here, but I can only tell you what I experienced. I would hesitate to predict how things would be differently because I just don't know how they would have been, honestly.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at it. So
Sure.
the first bill you showed me was before the 30 days expired. It was the end of the bill.
Yes, sir. I understand what you're saying. So that
So-
had I made the request at a date later in the month so that the billing cycle would have been triggered earlier, I would have a more brief period in which Excel's current practices would have misinformed me. I think that's how I would say it. But
Yeah.
I don't know that for certain. All I do know is that what I did
Okay.
experience was they spent 35 days giving me the specifically wrong information.
Fair enough.
And that, in my opinion, was the violation.
Okay, and Ms. Howard and Ms. Wolcott might actually be better witnesses to answer that question. So, did you have any time period? So I think you're saying 65 days, I think you said?
Yes, sir. To be clear, that was the complete duration during which I was unclear what rate plan I was on.
Okay. Any time before that or after that period have you been unclear?
Not that I can recall.
It's done. Is there anything you've mentioned Rule 3026?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything in Rule 3026 that mentions the portal or necessity to be on the portal updated?
3026 does not specifically state that the portal has to provide that information, but it does stipulate that the utility must make, or that the information available to the customer has to be commensurate with the level of technology that's being used. So however Excel wants to deliver that information to me, I would be happy to accept it. I'm only aware of the 3 modes that I use: telephone, web chat, and portal. And those were not consistent with each other. So I felt as though I was uninformed. But to answer your question, no, it does not specifically require the means by which Excel communicates information to me.
Okay.
That rule doesn't.
Okay. And I think the second billing that you showed me, there was billing that was done as time of use, but was credited. You got a credit back for it because it was beyond that 30 days. So
there was, yes, sir.
So when I see that tells me that the billing system is not, it didn't immediately do that, and it's still billed at the time of use rate. It should have had a refund. So is that show that there's not, it can't do it that quickly?
So, sir, I think what you're referencing is after the period was complete and they chose to update information systems that I had access to, they did apply the correct rule. The issue that I'm trying to point out is leading up to the issuance of that bill, which was 35 days after the switch was made, they were consistently telling me, you're on a plan other than what you're on. They
Well-
gave me wrong information. So I couldn't make informed decisions during that period. And later giving me a correct bill, that's great that they didn't violate another rule, but they did violate 3026 for the duration of that period.
No, the point that I'm making is when they sent you that bill, they
Mhm.
still had the time of use charges on there, which they then had a credit.
Sure. They retroactively corrected.
Hang on. Let me finish. But they had them on the bill. If they could have taken them off the bill, I mean, why would they put them on the bill? They were the wrong charges. So
No,
is
sir.
is the system operating correctly that way or not?
So can we bring up the exhibit so I can point
Sure,
to
sure.
it?
Tell me. Yeah, show me. Yeah, what is it?
It's is it one? Sorry, let me look real quick.
It was 115, but
115?
Yes, 115. This is actually interesting. It's a I would say a tangent to my experience that I have not focused on, but I'm happy to give some context.
Yeah, no. If I got it wrong, tell me.
I'm not saying you have it wrong. I'll just tell you how I
I-
interpret it.
I mind.
If you would mind, please scrolling down to the section that shows the details on electricity consumption. Okay,
Your Honor,
so as mentioned,
apologies. Ms. Howard does have a footnote in her affidavit explaining what happened there. If that's of interest, apologies. But please continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so the way that I interpret this bill, there's two distinct billing periods represented. The first is the last day of the period in which I was under time of use billing, which is only October 9th. And then the remainder of the bill is documented in the next section from I guess it's the end of October 9th. I would assume it's like midnight on October 10th through November 8th. Now, on this day, I actually, Your Honor, believe this is not correct billing, but I have not addressed that as part of my complaint. But since you asked, I'd like to explain.
Sure.
What this demonstrates here is that they are crediting my account for generation for my photovoltaic system. I have a solar system, a solar panel. So they're saying that on this day, I generated a net amount of electricity of 38 kilowatt hours delivered to the system so that I had a net consumption of 0. My photovoltaic system is incapable of doing this, okay? So I would say, and I don't want this to be part of my complaint against them, but I'll clarify this since you asked. I would say that this bill is incorrect, in fact, because there's no way that I generated that amount of energy in a single day. That said, this was after the end of the time of the 30-day window had expired, starting on October 10th. And so when I received this on November 15th, it was an accounting that retroactively informed me of how they were accounting for my usage during that time. Again, the issue is for the entire period that I was consuming electricity leading up to November 15th, I was not aware of what rate plan I was on, and therefore I could not make informed decisions on how I was going to consume electricity.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So you can take that down, April. I realized there was some confusion at some point when you talked to one representative at Public Service. But had you gone with the concept of they have 30 days, and for 30 days, next 30 days I'm going to be on time of use, and after that I am not, and I'm living my life like that, you would have been 100% correct?
Maybe I really can't say. I don't know how things would have been different had I not done what I did. I speculate that they responded to my repeated inquiries and filing a formal complaint prior to the issuance of this bill. Did that influence the way this bill was handled? I don't know.
I don't know either. And if you had been charged incorrectly, I mean, you seem to be aware that you would have been able to go through this process and get compensation or get it to the right level.
Yes,
correct?
a very convoluted process. Yes, I could get used to that. Yep.
Convoluted? Talking about me.
No, sir. The system is a little cumbersome.
Okay, all right. And do you know how many times you can change from one type of service to the next?
I believe it depends on a lot of different things. For example, if you don't have an AMI meter and then you get an AMI meter, there's different rules that apply. But for me, in my situation specifically, At any point in 2025, I could have requested that I be switched to opt-out, and then I have to be on opt-out for a period of 12 months prior to requesting that I switch back to time of use. And frankly, I'm a little concerned that if I go through that process, I could be heavily exposed to price impacts that I would be unaware of, because again, I may have up to 2 months of misinformation regarding what plan I'm on.
Okay. If someone doesn't have an AMI meter, do you know what they have to do?
I'm sorry?
If you have an AMI meter and they must, in your opinion, they must to follow 3026, they have to provide this all the time right away. What if you don't have an AMI meter? You can opt out. What happened? What responsibilities public service have at that point?
Sure. So if I'm not subject to time variant pricing, then I can't be on time of use billing. So the time of my consumption is completely irrelevant other than the total amount that's consumed within the duration of a billing period. So, the bill that I received 10 years ago told me I used so many kilowatt hours in a month, and that was it. Either the meter was reading correctly or not. It's when it has the ability to apply pricing based on the time of day or the day itself, that's when the utility is responsible for then providing the context, not only of this is the price at this time, but this is the price because of the plan that you're in. Those two things go hand in hand.
How much would it cost for public service to do what you want?
Sir, I have no idea how they run their business, but I do believe that it's incumbent upon them to meet the requirements that the commission laid out when they requested to implement time of use. I think an argument that this is going to be really expensive is immaterial, because they are the ones that asked to implement this program. The commission gave them the guidelines under which they had to operate in order to do so, and they failed to do so. Independent of what the cost is, they need to correct it.
How do you think I can not, and you don't think this would not be assessed on ratepayers? If this costs $10 million to revamp the system, do you think I could say, hey, listen, ratepayers don't have to pay for it?
No, sir. No, I'm not arguing that. My argument requesting imprudence is specific to the cost incurred in addressing this complaint. I know that Excel has the ability to ask the commission to pass through rates associated with modifications to the system. So I wouldn't expect them to bear the entire burden of modifications to become compliant with the rules. Yeah.
So the ratepayers would pick up. You think the ratepayers would pick up at least part of it?
I think that's normal course of business for the utility. Yes, sir. But
so again, had you called 2 days earlier, we probably wouldn't have a problem, would we?
Sir, I'm not trying to be difficult, but
and you can only do it once a year.
I think
at best you do it once a year, correct?
I'd like to go back to your previous question. I cannot speculate on what would be different had I done it under different periods. I really cannot. And I think all that I can do is I can say what I experienced was there were 35 days that Excel consistently communicated you are on time of use billing. And then 35 days after I was switched, they say, you have been on residential opt-out this whole period. It is inappropriate under Rule 3026 and Title 40 for the utility to affirmatively provide me false information. And that means information that they know is incorrect.
Did they orally provide you information that was incorrect?
Yes. Oh, not orally, but I would say, I'm sorry?
Did they correct? I mean, they might have confused, but in the end, did they orally tell you exactly what was happening?
Not within the period between the October 10th and November 15th. No, sir.
What was your last communication with them? Did you call after the 30 days?
Yes, sir.
And what did they tell you on that?
Sorry, I don't want to misspeak. Are you referencing a specific exhibit or?
I'm not. I'm just asking.
Okay.
Just I don't recall offhand. I know
From
you
my
talked
recollection,
about 9/10. You talked on September 10th and September 29th And then there's a thing from, but after October 10th, did you call them and say, hey, what am I on?
After October 10th. I did,
And
yes,
what
sir.
what'd they say?
I believe I called them twice, and in both instances, they indicated that I was on residential opt-out. But I would temper that with the fact that I had previously received incorrect information from them. So which information do I decide is correct? The information on the 13th or the information on the 29th? I don't know.
But they told you the correct information.
While they simultaneously told me incorrect information on the portal.
When? And the portal.
Yeah.
And the portal. But did they
Yeah.
tell you that did they tell you when the portal would change?
Maybe. I can't say definitively. They may have said that the portal would update after the billing cycle.
Okay. What's the dollar amount that would be too much, in your opinion, for this issue? I mean, or is it no? Is it $100 million to change this? You'd go, yep, yeah, do it. Is there any amount that you think that would be too much to make this change?
I'm sure there is, sir, but I really couldn't say what that is.
100 million? What costs 100 million?
I would be stunned if a software change would cost that much.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it costs. I don't know what you got to do. I don't know.
But honestly, I mean, the way that I look at it is, again, Excel requested the ability to implement it. The commission provided guidelines under which that was acceptable. And to argue now that because they chose not to implement it, because it's too difficult, we're just not going to follow that rule seems improper.
Let me ask you this one real quickly, kind of off in left field. There's a lot of wildfire issues in
Yes, sir.
this state. Okay. There's a lot of wires that are above ground. Okay. Cause a lot of problems.
Yes, sir.
Put them underground. You know what? Not so many fires.
Yes, sir.
Costs a lot of money to do that.
Yes, sir.
Can't put them all underground. Especially, and sometimes it's just impossible to. I mean, isn't there a level, do you think, that where the inconvenience of the problem doesn't meet the cost to fix this problem is way more than what the problem is?
I'm glad you asked that question, sir.
Good.
I am fortunate that we have a photovoltaic system that offsets some of the cost of our energy. It's just my wife and myself. We have very low energy consumption. So the difference in billing errors within the context of what I experienced could have been potentially plus or minus $100. And I'm fortunate enough that I could absorb that without it ruining the rest of my life. If we look at the average ratepayer, the average person in Denver consuming electricity from Excel, and they've got to come home at 5 o'clock, cook dinner for their kids, wash the clothes, et cetera, et cetera. Now that time of use billing has implemented a 2.7 time multiplier for the on time versus off peak, we could be talking of hundreds of dollars of difference that may significantly impact the life of the average ratepayer. So, sir, I would argue, yes, burying electric lines would definitely be a good thing to do if we could do it in a cost-effective way, balancing all of the other interests. That does not diminish the importance of giving the average consumer information by which they can make decisions about how they are consuming their electricity when it can make a significant impact on the average person's bottom line on a monthly basis. I think this is absolutely as important as anything else that they do. I wouldn't say this is not important.
Well, first off, I guarantee you one thing. Had I been doing the time of use case, it would have turned out much differently. But I'll take away from that. Go look at a Black Hills one from about 10 years ago, and you can see that. And I agree with you at 100% on a lot of that stuff, okay? But I just, we're talking about a very small period of time because they can do everything that you're asking, except when they change.
I'm sure I'm not
potentially a
the
small
only
period of
person
time.
that experienced. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, it could be. All right. I got nothing further. Mr. Bordelon, if you want to talk a little more, you can do that. I will tell you that it's 10:09 and I'm going to take a break at 10:30 for my court reporter. So if you're going to be done by 10:30 doing your redirect, go ahead. If not, tell me that.
Yes, sir. I'd like to Oh, I'm sorry, redirect.
That it's to you, to you. You talk again.
Oh, okay.
If I screwed up anything or Mr. Ardo screwed up anything that muddled up your testimony, then you get to re-talk and say that. So
Yes, sir. Just a couple of statements. So first of all, my primary complaint is that between the period of October 10th and November 15th, Excel consistently provided information about what rate plan I was on that internal systems knew to be incorrect. And that in itself is a violation of Rule 3026 in the context of AMI metering and time of use billing. The fact that at the end of that period, they provided a bill that did retroactively implement the rate plan that I should have been on does not correct the failure to comply with 3026 for that duration. One moment, sir. Although there are at least a few different lines of communication with Excel available to me, that would include at least the portal, their telephone customer service representatives, and their online chat. When any one of those three is in disagreement or provides information that conflicts with one or both of the other two, I think it's impossible for a consumer to know which one they're supposed to believe. However, I would argue that at least if it's in writing or presented in a graphical format online, there's some record that a customer can use to later make an argument. But when those three are not all in agreement, I think it is, from my experience, I was not able to decide what was true. And that is the basis of the entire complaint. Misinformation provided to a customer does not comply with 3026. And yes, that's my argument. Thank you.
all right. I tell you what, it's about 10, almost 10:15. Why don't we take a break right now and we'll come back at 10:30 and then we'll have public service. You can put on your case then at that point. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Damn it. I didn't say that. Okay. No problem there. All right. Hey, Tracy, can you hear me?
Yes,
All righty. Hey, Mr. Bordelon's doing a good job at talking slow, isn't he?
he's doing great.
That's what I think. Seriously, kudos to you, Mr. Bordelon. I get in trouble all the time for this, talking too fast. So I appreciate that I'm not only not getting in trouble with my co-reporter for you, but I don't. It's only for me. So works better. All right, we'll go back on the record here. And Mr. Aldo, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The company calls witness Deidre Howard to the stand.
All right. Hi, Ms. Howard. Raise your right hand for me.
Oh,
I
you
think
may
that's
need to
her- that's
unmute
her-
yourself, Ms. Howard.
Yes, I was just trying to find the button. Apologies.
I think that's your left hand.
It is my left hand. You're right.
You're trying to get off and get away with something there, weren't you?
Darn it. Excuse me.
All right. Do you swear affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right.
Yes.
Nice try. Okay. All right, Mr. Aldo, go ahead.
Good morning, Ms. Howard. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yes. Deidre Howard, Diedra. Last name Howard.
Great. And by whom are you employed and in what position?
I'm employed by Excel Energy Services Incorporated. And my position is Director of Customer Policy and Regulatory Compliance for the Customer Care Organization.
Great. And did you prepare an affidavit in this proceeding marked as Hearing Exhibit 201, together with attachment DKH1 and DKH2?
Yes, I did.
Great. And was it prepared by you or under your supervision? And is it true and
It
accurate
was.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Apologies. Your Honor, public service makes Ms. Howard available for cross-examination.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Bordelon, I'll just tell you real quickly. In a lot of these cases, we have pre-filed testimony. It's kind of the same way it's going here. So you can go right ahead and cross-examine her, and then the same kind of order. So go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So basically want to introduce specific portions of discovery and the affidavits that have been produced into the record. Good morning, Ms. Howard.
Good morning, Mr. Bordelon.
So Ms. Howard, you are the Director of Customer Policy and Regulatory Compliance, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is.
And your responsibilities include customer-facing policy, is that correct?
That is correct.
Your responsibilities include compliance with commission rules relating to customer information, is that right?
That is also correct.
Going over some of the history here. Excel recorded my request to change rates on September 10th, 2025, correct?
Correct.
Excel's records show that the residential opt-out rate became effective on October 10th, 2025, correct?
That's correct.
And the portal did not reflect the residential opt-out rate plan until after the first bill was issued on November 14th, 2025. Is that correct? I
Can you
restate
state
it.
that question again?
Yes, ma'am. The portal, my account portal, did not reflect that I was on residential opt-out until the November 14th statement was issued. Is that correct?
That is correct.
In the September 10th call, when I requested switching from time of use to residential opt-out, there was no statement that the portal would continue showing time of use until after November 14th bill. Is that correct?
I would have to review again, but my understanding is that it said that in the call that the rate would not be effective for 30 days. I don't recall whether it specifically in that call was stated that it wouldn't reflect on the portal.
Sorry, yes, ma'am. The question that I'm trying to get to is, I was not notified that after the switch that the portal would report information other than the rate that I was enrolled in. Is that correct?
Again, I would have to review specifically the call details to ensure that's correct. I just know that indeed the customer service representative did indicate that the rate would not be effective for 30 days.
Yes, ma'am. I think we all agree that I was notified the transition would take up to 30 days. And I'll ask just one more time, make sure that I'm asking clearly. During that call, the customer service representative did not inform me that I would see misinformation regarding the active rate plan on the portal.
I don't know that I would characterize it as misinformation, but again, I would have to review the document again, and I'm happy to do that now to verify exactly what was said in the record.
Okay. Is it possible to call up that exhibit?
Sure.
And this would be exhibit, sorry.
It's 116.
Thank you. It's a pretty brief exchange, so I don't think it should take too much time.
No, I don't think it is, Mr. Bordelon. I have looked at it, but I just want to make sure that I'm accurately reflecting the information from that transcript.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we scroll down just a little bit? Okay, we can go down further. Further, please. Okay, we can go down further. Okay, keep going, sir. Okay, we can go down further. Okay, we can keep going. Okay, I'm done reading. I don't see any information, Mr. Bordelon, from this call transcript that indicates that you were given information about when the portal would be updated. Only that the information on your billing statement.
Okay, thank you. Excel has admitted that there is no way for a customer using the My Account portal to determine their enrolled rate plan during the transition before issuance of the following bill. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Excel has further admitted that it was not aware of any customer-facing communications advising consumers that the portal would display inaccurate rate plan information during the transition period, correct?
To my knowledge, correct.
Okay. In your affidavit, you stated that the customer service representative misspoke during my September 29th interaction. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
After that error, did Excel send me corrective notice stating my actual current rate plan status?
Not at that time, sir, no.
In paragraph 7 of your affidavit, you state that Excel is finalizing a plan for follow-up emails to prevent other customers from encountering similar confusion. Is that correct?
That is also correct.
And that follow-up email process did not exist during the period September through November 25, correct?
That is also correct.
And the purpose of this process, this proposed process, is to prevent similar confusion, correct?
It is designed to make sure customers are aware of exactly when they'll see information and acknowledging that a rate request change has been, or excuse me, a rate change request has been made by the customer.
Okay, thank you. If the Excel My Account portal tells a customer that they are enrolled of time of use rate when they are actually enrolled in residential opt-out plan, does that statement accurately reflect the customer's enrolled rate at that time?
Can you state that one again for me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. If the My Account portal informs a customer that they are enrolled in a time of use rate plan when they're actually enrolled in a residential opt-out plan, does the statement accurately reflect the customer's enrolled rate plan at that time?
I would say that generally speaking, a customer is going to request a rate change when they're making a phone call and talking to a customer service representative. And in that case, they would be informed of exactly when that rate would take effect. If someone asked us about information they would see on the portal, which I don't think took place in the call, at that point, they would be told when that information would be reflected on the portal. Does that answer your question?
No, ma'am, but I will circle back to that. I have another question that
Okay.
I'd like to follow up on your response.
Sure.
You mentioned that when speaking with a customer service representative and a customer requests a change in rate plan, that the customer service representative will inform them of exactly when that rate change will occur. Did I hear you correctly?
No, they would be informed that it would be 30 days. That's the allowable time for that rate change to be effective.
Okay, so it'll, just to clarify, they're informed that the change will occur within 30 days, but not exactly 30 days. Is that correct?
It should be 30 days. I'm not sure if we would say exactly, but it's supposed to correlate with a billing period, right? So that would be 30 days.
So if I were to call on October 15th and my bill cycle's on November 1st, the billing cycle doesn't correlate with a 30-day period, does it? From the date of the call?
It correlates to when the customer would see the change. And from that date is when the usage or the usage would be billed at that other rate. It might not show, it would show on the next billing statement after that change takes effect. Maybe that's the better way to say that.
Okay, so if a customer called customer service and requested a rate change, and they were told that the rate may change within 30 days, should they understand that to mean the rate change will occur at 30 days after the call or at any period between the call and that 30-day endpoint?
They should be told that they should not be seeing it any sooner than 30 days. It may happen sooner, but it would not be required for less than 30 days.
Okay. And if a consumer or customer rather continues to consume electricity for that 30-day period, under the assumption that the change will occur on day 30, but it occurs prior to day 30, then they may not be able to respond to the price signals applicable to the time of use rate plan if they're changed from time of use to residential opt-out before that 30-day period. I know that was a lot. Sorry.
That's okay. If I'm understanding your question correctly, what I would say is information you're going to see on a billing statement or on the portal as it relates to your usage will not change regardless of what rate plan you're on, right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, going back to the...
Mr. Bordelon, I want to go back one question before that, just so I understand what she said too. When Mr. Bordelon is asking about the within 30 days, and you said it kind of could happen before then. So could it happen before then, but you wouldn't get billed differently until the 30 days? Is that correct?
You would definitely not see it before the 30 days.
Well, let's see it in your bill, or see it.
You would not see it for 30 days.
In your bill.
Assuming, depending on when your bill generates, right?
Okay.
So for instance, you request a change on the 10th, September 10th, we'll say, as Mr. Bordelon did. And your bill doesn't generate until the 15th, right? You're not going to see it until the end of when that next bill comes out.
But mine should be billed differently before that 30 days.
You would not be billed differently for
Okay.
30 days from that
That's all.
request.
That's all I want to make sure. I'm sorry, Mr. Bordelon. I just wanted to.
No, that's okay. Sorry if that was confusing.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Okay, so just circling back to the prior question. My question is, again, I'll read it out loud, let it sink in. I can rephrase if needed. If the Excel My Account portal informs a customer that they are enrolled in time of use when they are actually enrolled in residential opt-out, is the portal accurately reflecting the customer's enrolled rate plan at that time?
It is not.
Thank you. If a customer receives inaccurate information from an Excel customer service representative when asking about their rate status, can that impair the customer's ability to understand their service at that time?
Can you repeat that one for me one more time?
Yes, ma'am. If a customer receives inaccurate information from an Excel CSR when asking about their rate plan, can that interaction impair the customer's ability to understand their rate service at that time?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions for Ms. Howard, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Howard, I got a couple for you. Hey, I want to figure something out that I've trying to figure out. April, could you do me a favor and put up Exhibit 104? Ms. Howard, hopefully you can answer these. Maybe it's going to go to Ms. Wilcott. We'll see. If you can't answer it,
Okay.
You tell me.
All right.
I will tell you. So yesterday, in preparation for this case, I got on my portal and I was messing around on my portal. And go down, April, a little bit. Go down page 3. Yeah, this page right here. Page 4, right there. So, and it could be that I'm an old guy and I don't know how to use my computer. Certainly could be the issue. But I was trying to find something that would give me my usage per day as it's happening. So how can I get my April 20th usage today? And I saw this exhibit Mr. Bordelon had before. And so honestly, during the break, I pulled it back up and looked at it because I was like, I could not find anything like this on my portal. And why was that? And I tried again to do it. And then I noticed at this again that if I'm correct, this is showing, he said he has photovoltaic cells on his house. And so this is actually just showing how much generation he's creating. Is that correct? Let me make sure I'm getting this correct.
I may need Ms. Wilcott to join here, but that's my understanding, sir.
Okay. And so, and then I look at the bottom part of the page and then it has the uses and stuff like that. Is there a way on the portal to know how much energy you're using in real time? Because this is by the hour. This is by the hour, the one down here, the generation. But if I'm just me, I don't have any photovoltaic cells. Is there someplace on the website that I can see per hour what I'm using as I'm using it?
I'm going to ask if Ms. Wilcott can
Well,
answer that question.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. If you don't know, that's fine. Let me ask you, you can take that down, April. Ms. Howard, Mr. Bordelon is asking about this email process starting. Exactly how would that work?
So it's in the design phase right now, Your Honor. But there's two things that are going to happen. One, we are working on the coaching piece for the interactions that Mr. Bordelon had and for any subsequent customer. But in terms of the email process, what will happen is if a customer calls us and says they want to make a rate change, we will generate by the end of that day through a new automated process, an email that will first we'll verify that on the call for an email. And then that email will tell them you have on this date requested XYZ rate change. And then we will ensure that we are also providing them information on when they'll see that rate change.
Okay. And I want to go back to that question that I asked, interrupt Mr. Bordelon, because I thought that was kind of an interesting scenario, the way you were saying it. So Mr. Bordelon calls on September 10th, and he's told within 30 days you're going to get changed over to new rate. And so for some reason on October 1st, less than 30 days, you made it sound like it happened before then, but would the billing change at that point?
It wouldn't change for that 30-day period.
So from October 1st until October 10th or 20th, he would still be, or 10th, I guess, Mr. Bordelon in this position would still be getting billed at the time of use rate, correct?
That's correct.
So even though it might be changed, however you change it internally, the billing mechanism would not change.
That's correct.
So if Mr. Bordelon or someone else calls and says, I want to change it, they're 100% should be knowing that there will not be a change before 30 days. Now, whether it was said in his case or not,
Right.
I don't know. But according to what you're saying, then it would not change in just in a general case until that 30th day.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I just want to make 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
Do you have
course.
any, and this might be a Ms. Wilcock question based upon what the other one, do you have any idea how much the cost it would be to implement changes spoken that Mr. Bordelon is mentioning?
That would definitely be something Ms. Wolcott would need to respond to. I do not have that information, sir.
Okay. What kind of training do the people answer the phones get for these situations?
When a new customer service representative is hired, they get a minimum of 7 weeks of training. Included in that would be information around rate changes.
What do you think happened with this when Mr. Bordelon got told the wrong information? What happened there?
I believe that they may have not been looking at the specific rate in the accounting system. They may have just been looking at a billing statement and may not have seen the rate change request at that time.
How often do people change? Do you know, from one rate to another?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
I would say that it's infrequent.
How angry have people been getting that the extra expensive time goes till 9 p.m.? I'm just curious.
I know that there's got to be a number of people, myself included, that change has taken place.
Yeah, well, wait till the summer. That's what I think.
I know. You're right.
All right. All right. Mr. Elder, do you have any redirect, Ms. Howard?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. All right, Ms. Howard, turning to your redirect, Ms. Bordelon discussed a September 10th call with you where he was requesting the rate change, and that was hearing exhibit 116. If Ms. Boulez, if you could please pull that up, or I don't know if Ms. Kunkel is doing that.
It's April today.
Oh, it's April. Sorry, Ms. Woods. Thank you.
No. Wrong April.
Oh, a different April. Okay. I'll have to meet the, great. So turning to this exhibit, if you could please scroll down to where Mr. Bordelon and the representatives start talking about I think it's a little bit further down after they get past all the press this number and okay. Great, if we could go down a little bit further, thank you so much. Yeah, I think all the way. Great, thank you so much. In reviewing this call, would you agree that the customer service representative accurately advised Mr. Bordelon that his requested rate change would take effect within 30 days for billing purposes?
Yes, I would agree with that.
And would you agree that Mr. Bordelon never asked the representative when he would be able to see that in his My Energy portal or on his My Account page?
I would agree with that statement as well.
And you would agree that the representative accurately advised Mr. Bordelon that he would see that change appear on a future bill?
That is also correct.
Great. And Ms. Howard, does the tariff require a rate change to take effect, within a certain period of time after the customer calls and requests the rate change?
It requires it within 30 days or by 30 days.
And would you agree that Mr. Bordelon's rate transition happened within that tariff window?
I would agree with that statement.
So when a customer asks what rate public service is charging them, what is the authoritative source for that information?
That would be within our billing and accounting system.
And does anything that appears on the My Energy portal change the rate that the tariff requires public service to apply?
There's nothing that requires that change is made on the portal. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, but also does the rate schedule that appears on the portal, does that, impact the company's ability to, update a customer's rate schedule in response to their
No.
request?
I'm sorry. No, it does not.
Of course. Ms. Howard, do you want to say anything from the company's perspective about Mr. Bordelon's experience and how the company is working to address that kind of confusion for customers going forward?
I would love to, actually. I don't think that the experience that Mr. Bordelon had when he contacted us was completed in a way that would make sense, that would not lead to confusion. And our goal is to make sure this is not confusing for him or for any other customer that's making a rate change, which is exactly why we are pursuing this email option to ensure our customers are informed appropriately of what happens next and what rate they're on. And we do regret that he had that experience.
And in the email that public service is planning to, develop for customers after they request a rate change, will that email reflect that a customer isn't going to see the rate schedule update on the My Energy portal until that first bill is issued under the new rate?
That it will also be part of the email. Yes.
Great. And in your view, would that kind of notice help address the concerns that Mr. Bordelon has raised in this complaint?
That's our goal and our focus. So yes, I believe it will.
Great. Thank you. No further questions, Ms. Howard. Appreciate your time.
Ms. Howard,
Thank
thank you very much. Appreciate your testimony here. You can hang out here if you want to. You can go on your way. Mr. Bordelon, well, I tell you, don't go away. Mr. Bordelon might want to call you back up.
Your Honor, I don't anticipate calling Ms. Howard back.
Okay, all right. So you go do what you want to do. Thank you for your time. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your testimony. Really appreciate it. Mr. Rowley, may I call your next witness?
Of course. Public service calls company witness Jennifer Wolcott to the stand.
All right, Ms. Wolcott, if you do me a favor, raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm, tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, go right ahead.
Great. Ms. Wolcott, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Jennifer Wolcott, Jennifer Woolcott.
By whom are you employed and what is your position?
I'm employed by Xcel Energy Services and my position is Director of Customer Application Delivery.
Did you prepare an affidavit in this proceeding marked hearing exhibit 202?
I did.
And is that affidavit true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
Your Honor, public service makes Ms. Wolcott available for cross-examination.
All right, Mr. Bordelon, you go right ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Wolcott.
Good morning.
Your affidavit describes how Excel's portal displays customer information, correct?
Correct.
And you testified, I'm sorry, your affidavit indicates the portal updates interval usage data on roughly a 90-minute cadence. Is that correct?
Could you repeat the question, please?
The affidavit that you submitted, does it indicate that the customer portal updates interval usage data on roughly a 90-minute cadence?
Approximately, correct.
Also in your affidavit, the portal's rate plan status display updates only when the billing cycle closes and the first bill under the new rate is issued. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the portal and its supporting systems receive and display updated customer data on a near real-time basis because usage data updates approximately every 90 minutes. Is that correct?
For usage data, not for rate or billing information.
Okay. In your affidavit, you state that Excel updates the rate plan status in the customer portal after billing cycle close. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the difference is not that the portal cannot update frequently, it's that the rate plan status is not provided to the portal for timely display. Is that correct?
Can you ask that question again, please?
Sure. I'll read it verbatim. The difference is not that the portal cannot update frequently. It's that the rate plan status is not provided to the portal on the same frequency.
I would disagree with that statement. I would say the portal is architected to update usage information in near real time. It is not designed or developed to update other customer information such as rate or billing data in near real time.
Okay, so just to clarify, the portal updates quite frequently, but information regarding rate plans is not delivered to the portal at the same frequency as data collection. Is that correct?
No, I don't think I agree with that either. The portal updates usage information in near real time, what I would consider near real time, not rate or billing information. It's not designed to do that today.
Yes, ma'am. I think we're saying the same thing. I just want to get clarification here, so please bear with me. The portal has usage data coming in at roughly a 90-minute interval. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And once a rate plan information is provided to the portal, to the same system that the portal runs within, then it would display the rate as the usage relative to both kilowatt hours consumed and the rate that's applicable. Is that correct?
Can you clarify what you mean by the same system that runs within?
Yeah, let's actually pull up an exhibit as a reference. Could the recorder please pull up exhibit 104? And if you could go down to page 7, please. Or I'm sorry, the last page. Okay, perfect. Perfect view. Okay, so in this instance, this is the output from the portal. Is that correct?
Correct.
And just for clarification, Judge Garvey asked some about the information that's displayed here. I would like to take a look at this specifically. So this plot shows time on the x-axis, correct?
Correct.
And energy consumption, electricity consumption specifically in the units of kilowatt hours on the y-axis, correct?
Correct.
And columns that extend above the 0 kilowatt hour line are that is representative of electricity that was delivered to this meter, correct?
Correct?
And columns that go down below the 0 kilowatt hour line are indicative of electricity that was delivered to the meter from the or delivered to the meter. Is that correct?
Can you rephrase that?
Sure. So roughly 9 a.m. in this image, we start to see columns going down below the 0 kilowatt hour line. And all of those columns that are below that 0 kilowatt hour indicate electricity that was delivered to the grid from the home, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this is a all-encompassing view of electricity that was either delivered to the home or from the home relative to the grid. Is that correct?
Correct. This would be considered your usage data.
Okay, so that's, yes, ma'am. So the usage is reflective of the values on the y-axis, right?
Correct.
So as an example, at 12 a.m., it indicates roughly 1 kilowatt, or I'm sorry, for the hour of 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., this graph indicates that approximately 1 kilowatt hour was consumed. Is that correct?
That's what I see here, yes.
Okay, so the consumption, the amount of electricity that was consumed in this period was 1 kilowatt hour, but there's more information provided here. Would you agree that information specific to the applicable rate is also demonstrated?
I would agree that the rate that this system has for your billing account is what's displayed here.
Okay, and just for clarification, data, and again, going, I think, to one of Judge Garvey's questions, data that is shown here is relatively real time in that this data is updated per your affidavit on a roughly 90-minute interval. Is that correct?
The usage data is, that is correct.
Okay, so when a customer views this display and they can see the quantity of electricity that was delivered, they also see an assigned rate plan, whether that's in effect or not within your billing system. Me as a customer, I look at this and I say, at 1 a.m. on this date, I consumed roughly 1 kilowatt hour of off-peak generation. Would that be an accurate understanding of the information that's being provided?
I agree with that.
Okay. And just getting to how the different systems talk here, and I am not an IT person, so please excuse if I use the wrong terminology here. But the question that I was trying to get at before we started to look at this graph was the portal, which is displayed to the customer, receives usage data on a 90-minute interval, and at some point it's provided a reference billing rate in order to demonstrate or indicate these different colors. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so the view that I have of whether this would be a time of use rate as shown or a residential opt-out rate, which would not have all the different colors, it would just be one color, is dependent upon the information that Excel puts into the system that ultimately demonstrates this picture on a customer's page. And I know that was a lot. I can rephrase it if needed.
That's correct.
Okay, so the point that I'm trying to get at is, or the question rather that I'm trying to ask is, the information that's displayed here with respect to the rate in effect is a result of the information that Excel Energy elects to provide the system that generates this graph. Is that correct?
That's correct, based on, I will say, the requirements that we have for the time to make rate changes. And please understand, this system is not a system of record for billing and rate information. It's meant to be energy and usage insights to help you as a customer make decisions.
Do you believe the application of the higher time of use rates at, say, 6 p.m. are intended to influence the energy consumption behavior of customers?
I agree with that.
If today I looked at my portal and I saw this graphical presentation of my energy consumption, as a customer, would Excel expect me to be influenced one way or another to use more or less energy when the graphs are yellow and red versus when they're blue?
I can't speak to what you as a customer would do. Sorry.
That's fair. Okay. If I'm on a residential rate and I see my energy consumption as depicted on the portal indicated as peak consumption during the hour of 3 p.m., and I make decisions based on the fact that I believe I'm on a peak rate when I am not on a peak rate, am I making an informed decision?
Did you request a rate change? And were you told that it would take 30 days to take effect?
Let me rephrase. If as a customer, I view my portal and it indicates that I am on time of use billing, but I am not on time of use billing, am I able to act on legitimate and factual information to make informed decisions?
Objection asked and answered.
I'm going to say this. I think there's two different questions here. Ms. Wilcott, take Mr. Bordelon's question and have it, if you have not requested a rate change, does it do that?
If you, can you rephrase?
Yeah,
If you
is this good? Basically, I was asking, is this accurately describe what's going to be there and make your decisions if you look at that? And so, in the scenario one, I'm going to say is you have not requested a rate change. Can you look at this and make decisions based on that?
I would say yes.
Okay. Scenario two, you have requested a rate change 10 days ago. Can you do it then?
Understanding it, this is a little subjective. Let's say understanding that you made a rate change and were told that it would take 30 days to take effect. My assumption would be that you could make informed decisions based on that.
Based on the statement or based upon what is on the portal?
Based upon what is on the portal if you made the rate change 10 days ago.
Okay.
Could we please pull up Exhibit 117? And could we please go to page 7 of 43 of the document? And could you scroll down just a bit? Do I have the right page? Sorry. I can't see the top left right-hand corner. Can you go up a little bit? Page 7 of 44. Oh, okay. I've got the confidential version open on my side. Could you go up one page? I'm just trying to locate specific testimony. Okay, sorry, go down 2 pages. Okay, perfect. Okay, Ms. Wolcott, this is a response that you provided in response to requests for discovery. Is that correct? And take your time to review, please.
Yeah, give me just a second. That's correct.
Okay, and the last statement here makes reference to the period in which the requested change would take place. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the period is identified as within 30 days. Is that correct?
Oh, that's correct.
And it doesn't say on 30 days or exactly 30 days. It says within 30 days. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And could we please go back to Exhibit 104? Ms. Wolcott, last time I'll visit this question, but there was reference to how I would interpret this based on whether or not I made a request for a rate change. With the knowledge that the change may occur within 30 days, meaning 0 to 30 days after the request, could a person misinterpret this information to understand they are on time of use when in fact they are on residential opt-out because Excel had not updated information in the portal sufficient to inform someone of the rate plan in effect?
Objection, asked and answered, argumentative, and calls for speculation.
Mr. Bordelon, you got anything to say?
I'm reframing this question within the context of the limitation that Ms. Wolcott previously suggested.
Yeah, I'll let her answer it.
Can you restate the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. So the scenario is this. A person requests a rate change. They're told the rate change may occur within 30 days. At some period between the day that they made the request, but well before the 30 days, let's say 15 days in, they look at the portal, they see information that appears similar to this, showing them blue, yellow, and red columns on the My Portal graph. Could that person interpret this data to mean that they are in time of use billing rate when in fact they are in residential opt-out?
Sure, they could interpret it that way.
Thank you. Okay, resuming my original line of questioning, Excel confirmed its internal system of record can identify the customer's applicable rate before the bill is issued following the effective rate change plan. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Excel has confirmed customer service facing tools show both the rate on the last bill issued and the pending rate changes. Is that correct?
Repeat that question.
Excel has confirmed that CSR facing tools show both the rate on the last issued bill and pending rate changes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So during the rate change transition period, Excel's internal systems reflect the customer's correct enrolled plan. Is that correct?
To the best of my knowledge, that's correct, yes.
So I want to make a fine point on this one. So the question is, between the date that the request was submitted and it being, from the date that the change is implemented and before the customer receives written notification of that change via the next bill, Excel has internal knowledge within their system of the rate plan that is in effect. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. But instead of presenting the known new rate, the portal continues to display the prior rate. Is that correct?
Objection, argumentative.
I can rephrase it. That would be helpful.
Yeah, try and rephrase it for me if you would.
Sure. So despite, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Excel has internal systems that are aware of a change in rate plan, but the system that is viewable by the customer shows a different rate plan in this scenario. Is that correct?
In this scenario, that's correct. but I'm going to also point out that this is an external system that is not a system of record for billing or rate data.
Who is responsible for operating the My Portal webpage?
When you say operating, can you clarify what you mean?
Can a third party other than Excel choose to display information on the portal?
No.
Okay, so does Excel govern the information that is represented on the portal?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. Stepping back into the previous line of questioning, providing inaccurate rate plan information to a customer would impair that customer's ability to make informed decisions about their electricity usage. Is that a fair statement?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. Would providing inaccurate rate plan information to a customer impair that customer's ability to make informed decisions about their electricity usage?
Objection, argumentative, because it assumes, I guess I shouldn't give a fulsome objection, but
I'm gonna say it's a pretty easy question, I think. Ms. Wilcott can answer it, obviously. I think.
If
ahead.
inaccurate information were provided, it could certainly impact a customer.
Thank you. You testified the portal in your affidavit, I'm sorry. In your affidavit, you submitted information that the portal is managed by a third-party vendor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Excel provides requirements and specifications to that vendor about what information must be displayed and when. Is that correct?
Based on the capabilities that are available via the vendor, that's correct.
Sorry, just to get a clean record here. Excel provides records and specifications to the vendor about what information must be displayed and when. Is that correct?
That's correct, based
Thank
on the capabilities that are available from that vendor.
Okay. You stated that a real-time rate plan would require, in your affidavit, I apologize, in your affidavit, you stated that a real-time rate plan display would require substantial design and be costly. Is that correct?
That's correct.
As you sit here today, can you dispute that the portal displayed time of use as my plan when Excel's internal records showed residential opt-out was in effect?
No.
If the portal tells a customer they are in time of use and shows peak and off-peak categories, but the customer is actually on flat rate, is the portal presenting accurate information to that customer?
Repeat the question, please.
Yes, ma'am. If the portal informs a customer that they are on time of use rate, showing peak and off-peak categories, but the customer is actually on a flat rate, is the portal presenting inaccurate information to that customer?
No.
So, and sorry, this is belaboring a little bit, but I did just want to get this one last clarification. Is it your contention that portals that indicate time of use rate when a customer is on residential opt-out rate, that customer is not misinformed?
Repeat the question, please.
Is a customer misinformed about their applicable rate if a rate other than the rate that is in effect is displayed on the portal?
objection, complete hypothetical.
Well, I think it's kind of the same question, Mr.
Yes,
Bordelon
sir,
asked
and
a minute ago.
I'm fine
yeah,
with stepping away.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I mean, yeah, it's going to misinform.
Yes, sir. Sorry. I had some questions prepared, and I realized when I went into that one that it was redundant, so I apologize.
No problem.
Thank you. That concludes all of my questions.
All right. Hey, well, leave it. Ms. Wilcott, I just got a few. First off, in April, you don't have to put it back on, but that last chart that we're looking at with the times, if you heard me talking to Ms. Howard before, again, maybe I'm just old and I'm stupid. It could very well be the case. But do I have, without having generation capability, the ability to see how much I'm using per hour on the day on that day?
Yes, sir, you do.
Really? I just can't find that. Okay.
I'm happy to give you a demo
No,
offline.
that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. I looked at it. I couldn't find it. Okay. And so I get that. So are the billing system and the portal, based on what you're just saying, I think are two separate systems. Is that correct? They're not one system
Correct.
altogether, correct?
Correct.
And so they interface together, or is information taken from, I mean, do they work together, or?
They do not work together. From a billing perspective, we provide information to the portal via file transfers.
Okay. And you don't control it's an outside vendor that does the portal, is that correct?
They host the portal for us. That's correct. We do control the data that goes into the portal.
But as far as the display, do they control that, or do you control that?
We provide requirements for it. They do the design and the development.
Okay. Do you have a contract? You don't have to go into the particulars, but there's a contract with that
Yes,
vendor?
sir.
And how much you say it'd be costly? How costly would it be to if I find for Mr. Bordelon and I order public service to make changes to make this an instantaneous change that way? Just in your estimation, how long would that be? How much would that be? Excuse me.
Sure. So just from my experience, I've not gotten formal quotes. I would say it would be in the millions, and it would probably take some time to implement.
Okay. Are there any other scenarios other than a change of from one rate to the other that you're aware of that's come up where the incorrect showing? I mean, there's this 30-day period where there would be potentially showing time of use rate and it's not on there. Is there other scenarios that you're aware of where something like that would happen?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Do you know if you've had any other complaints about this, or just Mr. Bordelon?
Just Mr. Bordelon, as far as I know.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's it. All right, Mr. Aldo, you got anything?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. You asked some of the questions I was planning to, so that shortens my redirect. So thank you. All right, so Ms. Wolcott, are you aware of any commission rule or commission decision that requires the My Energy portal to display a pending rate change in real time?
No, I'm not.
And you've just testified earlier that the requested fix by Mr. Bordelon would be costly, but with limited benefit. So would you agree that any kind of mismatch between the rate schedule reflected in the portal and the rate schedule that's currently effective for billing purposes would be pretty limited in duration and only apply to a very limited subset of customers?
I agree with that. It's very temporary.
And so you would agree, though, that without giving specific numbers, because I understand you didn't get a quote, that there would be a substantial investment required to make the kinds of changes that Mr. Bordelon is requesting here?
I agree with that, in my experience.
And would you agree that the company's proposal to send out an email to customers informing them of the timing around requested rate changes and when those changes will appear on the portal, do you think that that would accomplish the same objectives as Mr. Bordelon's requested relief?
I do believe that it would accomplish the same objectives.
Great, thank you. I don't have any further questions for Ms. Wolcott.
Hey, Ms. Wolcott, bad news. When you're the judge, you can always come back and ask another question. Sorry. So I got like two more that I thought of real quickly. One, just to get into it, you can only do this, you can only change once a year, correct? Or once every 12 months from one rate to the other, to your knowledge.
I
correct?
would ask Ms. Howard to answer that. I'm
Okay,
not.
okay, I think that's right. Okay, okay. Do you know how often that happens generally?
I can tell you, I believe it's less than 2%, but I would need Ms. Howard to probably answer that.
Okay. I should ask her. Ask her all your questions, ask you all her questions, figures. Okay. You don't know if there's like just to your knowledge, you know if there's like ping pong people? Which I'll say, every 12 months you're going back and forth or something like that? Or do
I
people
I can't
generally you don't
answer
know?
that, sir. I'm sorry. I would have
Okay.
to go look.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. Do you have any, Mr. Aldo, based upon those questions that I got not particularly full answers because you can't answer them, do you have anything further you want to ask? Do you have anything
Nothing
further?
further that I want to ask, but I would indicate that the timing that customers can switch between rates is in our hearing exhibits. I believe it's tariff sheet number 33A. Provides that information if you were interested in that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's 12 months, but all right. If you have any, that's the end of your witnesses, correct, Mr. Aldo?
Yes, that is all of our witnesses.
Okay. First up, Mr. Bordelon, hey, I got to tell you something real quick here, sir. You're doing a fantastic job. Whenever you're a judge doing these things and you got to deal with someone who's a non-attorney, I'm always worried I got to sit there and they don't know how to ask questions. You're doing a great job. I just want to tell you that right away. And I really appreciate it. You're talking slow, and quite often people representing themselves don't ask questions and they just tell the witness what's going on. You're not doing that. And honestly, I appreciate you doing a great job on that. So,
Thanks, sir.
But that's it for the case in chief. Do you wish to put on a rebuttal case again? Is this got to be what to show evidence against what they've brought forward? Do you have anything that way? Nothing new, not to reiterate again, but something to address something that they just brought up.
Will I be able to make a closing statement, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think I can address everything in that.
Okay. And just before we close here, I'm just going to say real quickly, I just want to go over the exhibits we have entered. So that's 100, 103, 104, 105, 106, 110, 111, 112, 114, 15, 16, 17, and 19, and 200, 201, and 202. If there's anything else that anyone wanted to get in that hasn't gotten in, tell me. You can try and get something that way. But if not, again, I want to compliment all the parties. I really appreciate Ms. Wilcott. I'm sorry I didn't thank you for your testimony. Thank you very much. Thanks for waiting around, taking your morning with us. Very helpful, and I really do appreciate it. Mr. Bordelon, if that's the case, I'll leave it to you, and you can make a closing argument if you'd like.
Sorry, Judge, can I just interrupt for a quick second?
Sure.
Exhibits.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. There were no exhibits in Public Service Company's Box.com account, so those are not in the record. They need to be moved into the record through Box.com.
Oh, they were pre-filed. Yes, I can ask my colleague to get them into our Box.com. I didn't realize we had to re-upload them there.
No worries, thank you.
Sorry, April. She sent me a note that I needed to tell you that, and then I promptly went and forgot about that. So
No worries.
I'm sorry. All right, Mr. Bordelon, you go right ahead, though.
Thank you, sir. I think I can wrap this up in about 5 minutes from my side. Just a couple of quick comments before I go into my prepared statement. I think it's worth noting that Ms. Wolcott made the comment that Excel controls the data that goes into the portal. So all of the information that's displayed, my understanding is under the purview of Excel, and they do have the ability to make decisions on what is displayed. And you inquired about the number of complaints, and I wanted to share that in preparation of this, or rather for this hearing, I did a search to identify formal complaints regarding this issue, and there were none available within the e-filing system. But I think what's also important to note is that there are relatively few formal complaints filed by pro se complainants, because it is kind of a tricky task, in my opinion. And there's no public visibility of informal complaints registered with Excel. So I have no idea how many people have complained about this, and it would be useful to be able to demonstrate that. Unfortunately, the information is not available. So my prepared statement is as follows. First of all, Excel's portal I'm sorry. First of all, Excel's portal affirmatively displayed that I was on time of use rate plan for weeks, that I was actually on the residential opt-out plan. That was affirmative display of incorrect information. Second, when I asked for clarification, Excel's customer service representative provided conflicted and inaccurate information, leading me to not trust that source of information. Third, Excel admits that this is systemic and preventable. The portal updates usage data about every 90 minutes, but rate plan status is tied to billing cycle close. Excel's system of record knows the correct rate earlier, but that information is not made available to customers until the period of consumption is over. Rule 3026 requires Excel to maintain customer data sufficient for customers to understand their usage, commensurate with AMI technology. In a time of use environment, or when a time of use rate may apply, that rate plan status information is required to understand usage. Separately, Title 40 requires adequate, efficient, just, and reasonable service. Providing affirmatively incorrect rate plan information for weeks fails that standard. Excel argues that billing was correct, but service obligations apply during consumption, not only at billing. The commission is not required, strike that. Rule 3026 is deliberately scalable. It requires that as meters become more advanced and enable time variant pricing, the accuracy and timeliness of customer information must advance with that technology. Legacy post hoc billing information is no longer sufficient once AMI is deployed. Excel argues, in effect, that its failure to design or configure customer-facing systems capable of timely and accurate rate plan disclosure excuses its non-compliance. The law does not provide that. A regulated utility may not evade a mandatory service obligation by pointing to its own system design choices or implementation limitations. If a commission rule requires compliant operation, the failure to build or operate compliant systems is not a defense. It is the violation. Rule 3026 and Title 40 impose affirmative duties to Excel to maintain accurate technology, commensurate customer information. Excel's decision to deploy systems that do not meet those duties does not excuse noncompliance. It establishes imprudence under Title 40. Compliance with commission rules is not discretionary. Compliance with commission rules is not a discretionary expense that competes with other priorities. It is a baseline obligation. Resource constraints do not excuse noncompliance. Your Honor, I respectfully request the following: a finding of noncompliance with Rule 3026 and Title 40, Section 40-3-101, subsection 2. Corrective relief requiring timely, accurate display of current rate plan status, proactive notification of effective date during transitions, and CSR training and scripts. A finding that Excel acted imprudently in failing to adhere to Title 40 and Rule 3026 requirements by deploying and operating systems that provided affirmatively incorrect rate plan information to me for a period of at least 30 days. And that the Commission finds Excel acted imprudently by failing to satisfy Title 40 or Rule 3026, and that Excel may not recover from ratepayers any cost incurred investigating or defending this complaint. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Elder, he made a close, and I'll let you do it if you want to. Or you can just say that's that.
I guess I would have a question. Are we going to be filing statements of position? Because we're happy to include any of those points there, or I can try to touch on some of the high level points here if you don't believe those are necessary.
I tell you what, I told you before, I'm kind of backed up on getting cases done. So I'm not going to get this for 2 weeks, and so at least for 2 weeks. So it probably wouldn't hurt. And I think, like I said, I think both parties made a really great showing in the case here. again, my compliments to both sides on this. So, Mr. Bordelon, just for your information, when Mr. L was asking about statements of position, I'll give you the opportunity till like, let's say May 8th, okay, to write a statement of position, and that you can put your legal arguments down, take stuff from what's been said in the hearing here to make your final argument, and so forth. Seriously, if you didn't do such a good job in the case, I wouldn't want it, but I think you did a great job. You did a great job representing yourself. So I have a feeling you'll write something that I'd actually like to read. So again, compliment to you on the hard work that you've done on this case and presenting it. Can't say, I'm not saying you're going to win. Just say you did a damn good job. Okay.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Mr. Alden, I'm not, no offense to you, you did a good job too.
Oh, well, thank you.
But especially impressed with the pro se party. Really am. I really appreciate it.
Agree.
Thanks, sir.
So any questions on that? So I'll give you till May 8th, just file that, write that up, file that. You don't have to, Mr. Boydell. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you want to, please do that. I'm going to limit it to, normally we limit these things on pages. So 30 pages is going to be the limit. You probably shouldn't take 30 pages, but I certainly, it's kind of like your opening statement. I said, you go beyond 5 minutes and you're probably going to lose me. You go beyond 30 pages and then we're going to probably stop reading. So that should be plenty of room to get your law, get your argument, and your final statement together on that. So anything else? Mr. Bordelon, again, any questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Aldo, any questions?
We did get our exhibits into box.com, so just like to confirm that you guys have them on your end.
We're good,
Yes, I
April?
received those. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry, April. Okay, again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Wilcott, Ms. Howard, Mr. Bordelon, for your testimony as well, too. And like I say, get that, and then maybe 30 days after that May 8th date, I'll be able to get something out. I'll try and do that. But again, thank you very much. Appreciate everyone's time, and everyone have a good rest of the week. It's just early in the week. So, all right, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank
We'll
you.
be
Thank you,
adjournment.
Your Honor.
Okay.